Welcome to Mic'd and Medicated. We are so thrilled to have Lyss Stern on the podcast with us today. She is amazing for so many reasons. And I'm not going to steal her thunder. I will let her introduce herself. But I just want to say, Caroline and I have been anticipating your being here all week and are just so delighted to finally, well, it's my first time meeting you in person.
We're effing thrilled, which is how Lyss talks. Because I speak also Long Island, and it's a type of Jew that Eva doesn't speak. And it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like we abbreviate. It's a chop salad Jew. That's what I call it. It's a frozen yogurt chop salad. I can't explain it. Do you get it? Right? It's like we got to leave out words. There's a little Yiddish. Eva, it was new for her, but we're just vibing right now. Right?
I get it with your matching cape.
Right. Well, because Lyss is an incredible designer. One of her many trades that she does. You are like a master of so many things.
You're so kind. Well, first of all, thank you both for having me on today. I'm so excited to be here with you because, like, Mic'd and Medicated is the most brilliant name of a podcast. It needs to be a TV show. It needs to be a book. It is everything that every woman, I hope everybody's listening to this podcast because it's so real and authentic. And I think that's what's most important right now in this world. As women our age and age group, we need to hear from other women the realness.
Yes.
Well, that's why we vibed with you so much. I mean, even your new book is Motherhood is a Bitch, because
not a beach.
It's just because it's true. It's like, and everyone's like, oh, I have younger kids and they're like, oh, you enjoy it. The years go by so fast. I'm like, okay, but I'm struggling right now. So can I just hide in the bathroom and not feel guilty that I'm playing Block Blast or scrolling, and my kids are banging and I should be like playing a game with them. It's like, you know what? We're people. And I think you love saying that you just need to be you. That's like your quote.
100%. And like, we all need to be ourselves, like the authentic self. Like, it is so freaking hard to be a mom today. My mom, it's like hard, like it makes me feel bad because sometimes she'll say to me, like, I would never want to be a mom today. It's too hard. And I'm like, well, it is really hard, but we're all doing the best that we can. We're juggling 1,001 balls at once, trying not to let one drop. But you know what? You come into my world, they're dropping everywhere. And it's real. Like, I can't pretend that they're not, like, the balls aren't dropping, because they are. I'm doing my best. We're all doing our best. And that's, I think, the most important part of this.
But I think like that's what's missing, and why, and thank you for that lovely compliment, why Caroline and I started this podcast, because like, if you're not vulnerable and you're not able to kind of share your real self, then like, why bother?
Well, you can't actually connect without vulnerability. That is the step to connection.
And I think, like, hearing you say that, we're all dropping balls, and we just,
my husband's balls are dropping. We're dropping. All I can think about are just like, his balls are in my purse. I'm just,
oh my gosh! But no,
you get balls dropping. I'm just saying.
But I do think, like, I went through much of my life thinking that everybody else had things, very organized, and their kids were well behaved, and their marriages were idyllic.
Whoa. Hold on. That's where we're going to go into fake book.
Love it.
And Insta scam. But keep going.
No, 100%. And I think I met Caroline, and we were kind of talking about, we were both at crossroads trying to figure out what we wanted to do with our lives. And she just had like an intuitive, trusting sense that everyone's bullshitting you. Like, no one's life is great, and the more they post, the shittier their life is. And we did this so that we could say, hey, like, if you want to actually hear from people who are dropping balls and don't have everything put together, like, we want to be that voice, and we want to make you realize you're not alone.
Yes.
And life is really fucking hard, and parenting is hard. Right. And it's not all roses all the time.
And we all are kind of, I think the three of us are, we don't give a fuck, but we give a fuck about what matters.
And we give a fuck about our kids.
Right.
Yes.
If you don't care, it's very easy to parent. Right? Because who cares?
Exactly.
But we care. We don't care what people think of us.
Well, we care about the right things.
That's what I
think that a lot of it's hard.
We don't want to raise, admissions packages. We want to raise good humans,
kind children,
resilient, and with depth.
But yes, and I think that there is an unfortunate, judgment, expectation, pressure, and tendency in our, world that you almost want to suppress that, and you can get caught up in focusing on the wrong things so that you paint the right picture so that your kids behave a certain way, when really, like, the beauty of raising kids is like the messy, authentic, hard stuff.
Yes.
So like if everyone's walking around pretending that their kids are perfect,
Hashtag blessed.
then you don't.
I mean,
then,
just
then you're
soulmate.
Then
Married for 25 years. They're still in love.
Oh my God. I cannot wait for Valentine's Day. All the posts. So you want to vomit?
I mean,
this is how you build real community. The other way, you're just sort of everyone's feeling really lonely, but pretending.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't want to kill your husband at least once a day, then what's wrong? Then you don't have a good marriage. It's not real. Or he's fucking someone else, or you're doing something bad.
I mean, we talk about it all the time, right? My next book will be Menopause is a Bitch. Then the next book will be Marriage is a Bitch. Because you know what? Marriage is really fucking hard. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
Like and if everybody's blessed and everybody has their soulmate, mazel tov to them. Let me tell you something. And they are not really married. Okay.
Well, 100%.
I mean,
marriage is very hard. You're taking two people.
Yeah.
Okay. From two different worlds, two different childhoods, two different, I would say suitcases of shit, right? Suitcases of drama, like my husband and I both kind of were like middle children who didn't get as much attention because we had other siblings that dominated or other issues. And so I learned how to be the squeakiest wheel, and he learned how to just put his head down and kind of navigate. And so what happens? My husband puts his head down, navigates, and I go, pay attention to me,
But
and
wait,
it's hard.
So let's, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to everyone who doesn't know you, Lyss, because you really are a master of all trades. And like from being,
I'm wearing her cape she designed,
a PR marketing leader, to being an author, to being a creative, genius, and having your own company where you sell beautiful bags and capes and jewelry. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit about yourself. And, as we've all been
do you
saying,
do it all, actually? Because like, how do you juggle all those? Like, you have a book, another one coming out. I mean, I don't even know how you do it all.
Okay. So to answer your questions, first of all, let me be real as it comes. It's really hard. And I try and, like everybody else, multitask, and now more than ever, outsource. So I can't do it all, and I don't do it all. And I think also we need to be real about that. Like when you look at people, online, and you're like seeing them growing their business and doing this and that, hopefully they have some help or somewhere, a family member, because you cannot physically 100%. Do it all. I remember actually when I first started out years ago, I was like on Fox or something, and I was like, first starting my business, and they were like, could a mom have it all? Could a female business woman have it all? I'm like, of course she can. She could do it all. Of course she can. And then now, hindsight, 23 years later, like, you know what? She could have it all, but she also needs to outsource, because everything cannot be done by that one person. It's just impossible.
Right. And you also have to learn that like you can't have it all at the same time.
And also, when you're going to be a parent, and a good parent and a present parent, it's also so important to be there at those times when you can. So like, and one of the things that I always talk about, my kids, and it's something I struggle with, but I've gotten much better at it, is putting my phone down.
Oh my God, I know. And then I feel guilty.
But that's a whole other conversation too, right? Like, how do we multitask, and how do we, when you're a businesswoman or you're trying to do something for work and your kids want your attention, and it's just knowing that like there have to be times for everything, and trying to explain that to the kids is really hard when they're little kids.
Right, because that's how you do everything. It was like my kids would be like, pay attention. I'm like, I'm doing your school forms that are due in an hour. It's like everything we do is on the phone. Where my parents, my mom's generation, it was sort of, you'd get the envelope from school. Like they could see her actually feeling, so I could see her feeling something out. But I think it's very hard to set boundaries. And then here I am, I'm like, get off the iPad. You're not on the iPad. And then I'm like, hiding in the bathroom playing on a game, or like posting on Instagram. That's your mom
timeout, right? That's your timeout.
Right. Or posting, on Instagram for our business. So it is. It's so hard.
It's my older, the boys, they're very critical of me, and I get it. Like they're like, Mom, like, you're always telling us not to be on the online, but you're online all the time. I'm like, because I'm doing it for business. I'm doing it for work. If I was just for me, for pleasure, like personally, you wouldn't see this much of me. It's
It's very hard. And I think a couple of things you said really resonate with me. One, being able to prioritize and knowing what things you have to do versus what things you can outsource.
Yes.
And I think finding that balance, especially if you're somebody who's a bit controlling, like which are the things you really need to show up for versus the things other people can do. And then I also think this notion of multitasking is a myth, and actually the best way, and I'm not saying I do this, but it's really to actually laser focus on one thing at a time, because you're really not getting anything right if you're doing 3 or 4 things at a time.
But I think with ADD, at least for me, even with medicine, I think my brain gets off of like doing so many, like I can't stop.
It does.
Yes, it's
but
funny.
It's terrible.
It's funny, actually. I've been told that it's almost like hero complex. Like if I'm running down the street, walking my dog, and I trip and fall, but at the same time I'm on a work call, and then I'm, on my way to go meet a friend for coffee, like somehow being able to do it all, even in that frazzled, crazy, insane way, I feel it's rewarding. Like, oh, I can do it. I can get everything done and be the hero.
But you're right, you're not enjoying it all. But that's where then the guilt comes, where it's like, now my kids are getting older, but when they were little and I would like be kind of on my phone, or I was pretty focused, but I'm a human, and then you feel guilty because, it's going fast. But what I think also a lot of moms could learn from both of you, who are now, Eva's more of an entrepreneur, you were corporate, is I think people think women take the break when their kids are little. But I actually find the more I'm learning that when kids hit that adolescent period, they really need a rock. They need a parent involved. Like, what is that like? Because I think people are like, oh, why aren't you working full time? Or, your kids are grown, but like they really need a lot of you.
So
what is that like?
Well, I also think too, like one of the things I always say too is like, enough with the judgment. Like I'm not going to sit here and judge anybody, what they do, how they do it, as far as if they work full time, they don't work full time, they work part time, they have whatever it is that works for you, for that person works. And that's great. But I do know that as a mother of older children, they need us too. And I think that, I speak to people all the time, and that work full time, they're out of the house at 6 a.m. and they're home like 7, 8 at night, and their kids need them. It's exhausting. And to also like do the homework, right? And to talk to them and to really understand what's going on in their lives. And then social media and having those conversations and talking about the digital platform. And it's just, it's a
digital citizenship. That's the new thing that it's called.
So can you tell us, Lyss, like in terms of your career journey, how many children do you have? Like, where were you at in your career? Because for me, my off ramps often align with when my kids needed me more. Sure. So I'm curious.
Or when you thought they needed you more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have 3 children, 22, 18, and my daughter's almost 12. I think that, at different times in each of their lives, they needed me more. My older son still needs me a lot. He's 22, but they always say as the kids get older, it should get easier.
No, they don't. Little kids, little problems.
But no. And I think it's also for me personally, understanding when they need me, and not to be annoying and not to be overbearing, but knowing that they know that I'm there for them. My son's away in college right now. It's freezing up there. So I keep saying to him, are you warm enough? Do you have, he's like, Mom, stop.
Well, you saw University of Michigan.
I know that kid, that was horrible.
I mean,
I know.
Yeah. And
although is it colder up north? Yes. I feel like New York is the coldest place on earth right now.
No, upstate New York is freezing.
Freezing right
now. I went to Cornell. This kind of 10, 12 degrees was like normal winter. So imagine must be like negative.
Wow. And you really don't like cold weather.
Oh, it was not fun. I hated college. I was so depressed. You couldn't even see me when I would walk to class. It was like I literally was like a ninja. Yes. It was just my eyes. And then it would take me 20 minutes to undress, and everyone look at me like, who the fuck is that girl? She's so fucking weird.
It's almost but going back into parenting, I'll send, because I don't also want to be that annoying mom. But
face it, we're Jewish mothers.
Oh my God, I know I'm so annoying. They tell me how I'm so annoying, but I send them articles. Or, I'll say to them, guys, this really happened in real time. Because, again, it's one thing when we're telling them and they're like, oh, she's so annoying. She doesn't know anything. We've all been there.
No, you have to see my family screen, my family chats. They're amazing. I will get a photo of a family member with a basal cell removal, and it will be everybody get your skin check. Or my mom will be like, this was, there's a fire on 92nd Street. And then I'm like, what are you talking about? It was just there. She's like, sorry, old article. It'll be like, woman stabs. Like, I'm like, can you stop?
Do you know that I had to take Citizen off my phone?
Oh, it's the worst.
I couldn't take it.
My mom doesn't know about it, or she would literally, I don't know where she gets her alerts. You have a Citizen?
No, because
it's fucking terrible. I'm like, oh my God, I can't leave the house today again.
No, it was giving me, I already have anxiety. So it was just giving me
agita, like beyond. I know.
Those like,
I know. Even with the meds, New York's hard. A lot of cortisol.
Is very hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
And so now you're an entrepreneur and you have one left in the house, kind of like me. Next year, I'll have one left in the house.
But I think we still didn't answer what you were kind of asking, because I'm also curious too, is like when you had your firstborn, like what were you doing professionally, right?
So,
yes.
Great question. Okay. So I started out really quickly. I went to college, graduated, went to NYU graduate school at night. And then I also worked for a woman named Peggy Siegel. I'm sure you'll be hearing about her a lot in the news right now, but she was one of the biggest Hollywood publicists there was back in the day. And so I worked for her for 2 years, and that's actually where I met my husband. That story's for another time.
So he works in entertainment.
He works in the entertainment industry as well. And we were introduced by a friend. And then from there, I actually went back to school and then got a master's in early education. And
so that was your second master's.
Second master's.
Wow.
Underachiever over here.
And then I taught at Rodolph Shalom, pre-K and kindergarten. And then I got pregnant with my first son, Jackson. And I went to like a new mother's luncheon, and I was just like, this really can't be the only thing that there is for moms. It was like in this dark, dingy restaurant on the Upper East Side. And this woman who actually is my friend today, I love her. I call her the Dawn. She was like, today you're going to learn how to breastfeed, and you're not allowed to talk to anybody. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get out of here. But that back then, that was really the only thing that there was for moms. And then like a light bulb went off on my head when I was walking him home, and I was like, I need to start a company for moms. And but like more of events for moms and getting them together and like cool venues and all this really cool, like direct marketing to moms. And then that's how DivaMoms started. And it was 23 years ago. But during that time, though, I was also like working for Condé Nast. I was if you remember, it was Cookie Magazine.
Yeah, it was like always at the pediatrician's office or like
it was
everywhere.
like a high-end lifestyle family magazine. It was beautiful. So I was their lifestyle correspondent. And then that unfortunately folded. But I always loved writing and doing. And I think also that's, again, part of my ADD, ADHD. My husband was like, it's always something. You're always doing something else. Like you're always on to the next project. And I think that's a part of
it's creative.
Exactly.
I feel like the ADHD gene is highly creative.
Yes.
But I feel like it comes in waves. Like, I don't know if you felt this way, because Eva was so kind of straight arrow on like, except for maternity leave. When I, would be with my kids in that like real moment of like first 2 years.
Sure.
And then when my son became like, I think he was 2 before I got pregnant, I was like, I needed to do something else. I did stand up, and then, but then I went back into the throes of having a newborn.
Right.
So it's like, I can't do all the multitasking if I'm really in something, like if that makes any sense. Like,
I think
literally your brain
that
doesn't
makes
work.
a ton of sense. When you have ADHD, it's not that you can't focus. You can have hyper focus about things you care about.
Can't
you can't focus on
prioritize.
the things you don't care about.
Exactly. And I also think, and I also think too, like for me personally, like I get a lot of stuff done like late at night. So like,
I'm a morning person.
I'm
She's
like
a night owl.
We all have our, I remember my friend June Ambrose once said, she says she wakes before the quake, meaning like she would wake up like 2 hours before the kids woke up.
That's me.
She would get stuff. So everybody has their own way, of doing it, and whatever works for you.
Yes.
Great. As long as you're a good parent and you are teaching your children kindness and compassion,
right,
and resilience and everything else that we talked about before, that's
also
what's
do what works, what makes you that best parent.
Yes.
Like I have friends who, if they had stayed home in those early years, would have literally been terrible parents.
Yeah.
Because that work filled them and they needed that so they could come home and like be fully present.
Yes.
I couldn't have done that. So I think you have to also know, and it's a luxury problem in a way to be able to choose how we spend our time, but it's what works for you and your family.
And I also think too, like it's about moms, for all moms, whether or not you live in New York City, wherever, it's like taking that time also for you, which we talk about in the book. Like I know for me personally, like I have to walk. Like if I can't get to the gym or if I can't do something, I just have to go walk. I need to just breathe. I need
Me
to
too.
And I think we need to all find whatever that is for ourselves, whether even if it's just 10 minutes a day, because being that mom and being, you know, we need to also just take care of ourselves too, our mental state, because that's so important. You know, which nobody really talks about it. They're starting to now. Right. You know, like
they didn't talk about it. Same thing with like menopause. It's like no one talked about it. I was the first of my friends to have a baby. No one told me what my body would look like, how postpartum was worse than pregnancy. I mean, I don't know. My mom didn't tell me any of this stuff.
I still ask my mom about menopause. She tells me she never went through it. Never happened to her. I'm like, okay, Mom.
Well, menopause is harder because there's no one day
until you get to menopause.
So how about my menopause? You ready? March 23rd, 2020. That was it. Never got my period again.
Wow.
You know why?
COVID. Weird.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And I'm still like a part of like Mount Sinai. I'm like one of their first studies. No one could figure this out.
When did you get COVID? Really early?
Yeah, I was an OG. March 23rd, 2020 is when my whole life changed.
And how did you get COVID? Do you know?
I don't. My son had it a month before. We didn't know that it was COVID. We knew that he had a virus. It was back then an unknown virus.
Oh, but they knew it was an unknown virus. It wasn't like the flu or cold.
Correct. And then several weeks later.
Was your actual case of COVID very severe, or was it just then
mine was severe?
Did you go to the hospital?
No, that's the only. I didn't go to the hospital.
Thank God, that probably saved you.
My doctor said to me, "Do not go because you could breathe." But I had things that they didn't even back then even know that it was related to COVID, and now, of course, we know everything. But
you have long COVID.
Long COVID, yeah.
Jesus.
So has that really changed your lifestyle?
You know what? Not only yes, it's changed my lifestyle, but it's also changed my thinking. And it's not just like menopause, you know, or like when you get to a certain age, you don't give a F anymore. Long COVID for me really has also shown me like who's most important in my life. Like I have no time for the BS. I have no
You're too tired. You have fatigue.
I really have. I mean, and I know we all get to that point, but like I just don't have, I can't do it. And I can't pretend anymore. Does that make sense? Like I can't
I'm like that now. I'm a little scared. I'm only 38.
I can't even be.
What the fuck am I going to be like after menopause?
I can't even be in the same room. It's like that energy. I feel the energy of people.
Me
so
you're speaking,
it's real. This energy and this feeling of like toxicity. I can't do it.
We're empaths. You are too. I think you just haven't channeled it, Eva. Like you're so in the brain and like you're so smart and you're like all data. I like feel. I can't be around.
My sister is like worried for me. She's like, you worry. You take on everybody's everything. But I can't.
That is somebody who is very sensitive. I think though also what you're saying is you have finite resources now. Yes. Like you're not an Energizer bunny and you have this fatigue that it's almost like the less time you have, the more
productive.
The more productive you are, and just the more thoughtful you are about how you spend it. Like I think for everyone, whether you have COVID, whether you're fatigued, whether you work or not, like time is our scarcest asset. And so I find for me, it's like
I feel guilty when I'm not paying attention to my kids.
Right. Like, but for me turning 50, you're like, oh, like if I'm lucky, I have I've finished half my life. So then all of a sudden you're like, well, why would I spend time with people who don't make me feel good? Or why would I spend time doing things that don't serve me?
Yes.
And so I think you in some ways got that gift in a weird way through COVID.
And also you got the gift of, we've talked about how busy has become, it's like people are proud in New York. They're like, I'm so busy. I'm so, it's okay to be like, I fucking relaxed for an hour.
I came. Yeah,
like you have your body's basically telling you, you have no choice.
100%.
Wait, I have to ask, is that when you got your race car?
So that's her son's chair.
That's my son's chair.
Oh my God.
Liz
this is the fucking coolest chair ever. She looks like Carl. What was his name? Carl Reinhardt? No, that's the actor. Who's the famous guy? Dale Earnhardt? The fucking come on, guys. Somebody has to know. The famous race car driver. I was gonna make a joke. I can't even hit it now.
I know who you're talking
Break on that one. You know what I'm talking about. You look like a freaking race car driver. It's so cool.
You're a badass.
So my boys are both gamers, or they were gamers. So they each have their own racing car. My son happens to have the best lighting in his room. So when I do Zooms, I do it in there, and I do it on my,
Yeah, it's like you turn around. I'm like, oh, whoa, like, where is she? Like, she's in her simulator right now.
I wish
like,
I was in my simulator.
Yeah.
It would be really fun.
No, but it is really hard, actually. Just, I think for us as empaths, I think you are, Eva, too, because you love being at home. Like, New York City has become so hard for me because I'm so sensitive that if I go outside, I like pick it up, these like crazy psychos. Like, I could just feel it. I'm like, nope, can't deal with that shit today.
Yeah.
I'm just staying home with my dog.
No, my dogs are my everything.
They're the best.
They're the best.
They really do bring your nervous system down. I have to say, it's better than medicine.
It really
I thought you were going to say it's better than
dog.
sex or something. You do get oxytocin from cuddling your dog.
Oh, okay. So then that's what it is.
No, it's a bonding chemical. Like, they absorb our shit for us.
They absorb our energy too. Like, when they know, like, when we're down, they're like right there. Or like when we're happy, they're like,
no one loves you like your dog. And actually, hearing you both talk about your dogs, it's almost like I thought I was getting a dog for our family and for the kids, but
it's your shadow.
Yes.
It's usually the mom who absorbs everything. So it's almost like having a dog is the comfort pet for the mom. Also, because who is absorbing the mom?
I also feel like my dogs, my dog now is my second dog I've had as like a grown up, not as a childhood pet. And I feel like my dog's a reflection of where I am in my life. Like, my first dog, who I loved dearly, I had before kids, I was a fucking nervous wreck. He was a nervous wreck. He had to put him on Prozac. No, I'm not kidding. I would call Zittermers and I'd get, his prescription, this. I was like, stressed out of my mind. The dog, I feel bad. Like, he was hard. It was hard for him. And now I ruined him, but I loved him. Rest in peace. I was calmer with my kids, I think. And now my dog, she does bite sometimes if she doesn't, she's like me, but she's happy. She's sweet. She's cozy. She messes
I think
up
you're actually saying something very important, which is, as a parent, your kids pick up your energy.
Yep.
And so
they really do.
The best parenting advice I ever got was, there's only one trick to parenting, and that is to manage your own anxiety.
Yep.
Because if you can be calm, your kids will feel that, and then their nervous system will act in kind.
Yeah.
They say actually also, which is interesting, that we all kind of have ADD. It depends on your environment growing up. Like, if there's any chaos at all, it's a survival tactic.
Yeah.
It's
fascinating. So tell us about your childhood. I mean, I do feel very strongly that people are products of their early formative years, whether that's they grow up to be very similar to how they were raised, or they completely rebel and they end up very opposite.
Sure. So I grew up in Long Island.
On Long Island.
I just learned that.
And, it's interesting because my grandparents, they lived in Howard Beach, but they were very, very, very influential in my life. Like, I spent every weekends with them until I was like 16. I mean, I'm talking like every Saturday night watching the Golden Girls with my grandma in her bed. Like, what was it? Something Island. What was it?
Love Island?
No.
Gilligan's Island.
No, the other one. Something Island.
Oh, with DePlane, boss DePlane.
Yes. And that was every Saturday. Like, but my childhood, so
Fantasy Island.
Yes, Fantasy Island. See, menopause brain. But my grandmother especially, she was before a lot of women had powerful jobs. She worked at JF Kennedy Airport in the import-export business. So it was fascinating. And she would take me to her work all the time. And I just loved, she was like the woman boss. She drove a blue Cadillac. She smoked cigarettes. She listened to Frank Sinatra, but she also loved her grandchildren more than anything. Yep. And when I was sick, I'd call her to make the matzo ball soup.
That's how I grew up with my grandparents. Were so important to me. They lived in Long Island. I grew up in the city, and it was, my mom would call my granny and I was sick, and she would make soup and drive it in.
Yeah.
That's just
it's
amazing.
Wow.
And now
it's a generation.
Yeah. And I grew up, my dad worked a lot. He was on the first train to New York City in the morning, and then he was home late at night. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. She says that she did her best, and she did. My sister and I, though, kind of went in a different direction.
In what way?
We both wanted to always have a career. And And I think that we both really worked hard. My sister's a producer on Law and Order. I'm super proud of her.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of it also is about like drive and hustle. And that's definitely something I got from my father. He was always, working and doing things and being creative and an entrepreneur as well.
What did he do?
He was a lawyer. And then later on in life, he was always doing something like trying, and then he passed away, unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
But I think that I learned a lot from just, my grandmother and my father.
I do think watching your parents work is very, very important, because I do think work ethic, they always say, do your kids do as you do, not as you say.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it can be very warped for kids, growing up where the parents, don't need to work or aren't working, because you then don't really understand where the money comes from. And it's good to see those values. Like we talked on the last episode about how work is a virtue.
Yeah.
And hard work, feeds the soul. Like I think we were all meant to work. I think a lot of the problems with the younger generation today is that, a lot of them don't have that same work ethic. And instead of putting their energy into that, they're out protesting for things they don't understand.
Right. And also I think work ethic, it doesn't necessarily have to be the career, but it's how you show up every day. Like when my parents were raising us, my dad, same thing, worked, all the time. And my mom was doing entrepreneurial stuff and selling clothing. But also like my brother was very difficult. Yeah. Love him. He's awesome now. But like she was working hard to make him the best version of himself and to make me, like, she wasn't, relaxing, I mean, she could have, but I just saw that whatever she was going to do, she was going to do it 100%.
Yes.
And I think that's also important to see that you don't give up when things are hard, to see your parents be resilient.
Of course. And And I also think too, it's important for kids to see their parents, like if something I always talk to my oldest about, like I've had several businesses. Some of them were super successful. Some of them failed, but like, you know what? Like you pick yourself up, you pivot and you figure it out and you keep going.
It's not even a pivot. It's just like, it's what you're evolving.
The only difference between success and failure is that you get up after you fail. I always tell my kids that, like,
I think failure is so important.
It's so important.
What's also was coming as you were talking about your grandparents being so influential. I think this is a big issue that our these new generation is having, is parents are having kids so old that they don't have parents who can be grandparents who are involved. And there's something about a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle where they don't have to deal with the day-to-day mishigash craziness, so they can really be more present and give you love. And like that is, and they teach you something from the good old days. And I think that these kids are so lost because they don't even have anybody to tell them stories, because your parents can't tell the same stories that your grandparents can tell about how you got here and being you know what I'm saying?
I think it goes back to like us, right? As mothers too, something I always talk about. We need a community. Like
we've been saying
we have, I mean, if you think about it, like back in the day, you lived
in a freaking village.
In a village. And it does take a village.
Yes.
And it's so hard. Like we live in our own boxes, right? If you live in Manhattan, you live in your own apartment. If you live in a house, you live in your own house. But we need each other.
Yeah. We joke we like want to live together with our families. Yeah. But then like it's like I'll walk your dog.
Optional.
Yeah. No, I mean but now it's like you have to pay for everybody in your village. And no one's free. I need some free village help.
Outsourcing. You're creating a village.
But you have to, because you don't have like no one used to live near your parents or near your sister or near your friend, and you would all share.
I know you mentioned the 10-minute walk, but in terms of self-care, because I feel like that's an area that I, for one, very much struggle with in terms of, limited time. You want to work, you want to see your husband, you want to spend time with your kids. So what do you like? What's your recipe and recommendation?
Okay. So my recipe is definitely very messy, but one of my recommendations is, again, not everybody has the time, but like I really try before bed to take like a warm shower or a bath, and then like light a scented candle and just breathe. Or like a lot of times too, like I know it sounds hokey, but like I'll sage my apartment.
Oh, I have sage. I love sage. I have it in my drawer.
When the kids are sleeping, and I'll just like take it and like breathe it in, and I'll sit on the couch and like I'll actually read a magazine. Like I love still flipping through pages, like just when my daughter's asleep, then it's my time. And so I think it's also like important too, like and I'm definitely failing at it. My husband and I used to make like a date night, like once a week, where we'd go out for dinner, just the two of us, and like talk and catch up, because we're both like
Yeah, ships in the night.
But you know what? It hasn't happened in a long time.
Caroline is definitely the model in terms of you and Jeremy make a consistent effort to go out, just the two of you, and you celebrate every holiday. I'm like you, where it's.
I think we just don't like a lot of other people, so it's easy to just go out ourselves. No, I'm just kidding. No, we do. We do. I make, you know why? Because like when I'm feeling, it's very hard to, I don't know how people do it, like connect when you're at home with all the shit happening.
Yeah.
Like I need to leave.
Yes.
When you're at a restaurant, there's also like no one looks at their phone. I feel like it's just a different expectation than when you're at home.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and like I'm not going to scream at him. It's like we're with other people. So I feel like he's, you know, it's just, it is important. You got to, you know, ask questions, see how they're doing. Usually it's the me talking, but.
Well, I'll never forget one night I came over and she was getting ready to go out to dinner and I was in sweats because I was going to spend the Friday night, which Doug and I usually do very happily, just kind of snuggled up, like order in.
Yeah.
And she was like, do you think I want to be dressed up like this right now? She's like, you got to do it so you can go out with your husband.
Well, because then you feel good.
Yes.
Like I don't feel sexy when I'm like, have food in my teeth and like my bite plate, you know, and like my like boobs down to here and like sweatpants. Like he doesn't look sexy in his shorts and t-shirt.
Okay, wait, I have to chime in for a minute. You guys, your husband's much younger than mine, but like my husband now, he sleeps with a sleep mask.
Well,
my husband literally is sleeping with my sleep mask. So that's like where, you know, like
because he needs it so dark.
Because he needs it dark.
I have a sleep mask. I have a fan out that makes noise. I have like 18 pills or vitamins I take. Bike plate. I need to go out so he can remember why he fell in love with me.
Oh my God, you're beautiful.
No, but you know, it's an energy. You put it out there. You got to feel hot. You got to you have to.
Yeah. And I think it's
and
also,
men too. Sorry.
Yes, men.
Don't get fat in like the dad bod. No. And if you don't have hair, get some on your head. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see my face in your head. Right? Or because you have to become religious. That's why they must have invented kippas or yarmulkes.
I just saw something this morning actually, and it was like it's not just on the woman too, like to keep the marriage and the sparkle alive. The men have to do it too. Men have to also take the initiative. It can't always be the woman.
I'm sorry, no, yes, groom yourself. I mean, I don't want like a metrosexual man, but like groom. You walking around with socks with holes in it. No. Like, come on,
really?
Clip your
you don't
toenails.
want your husband with underwear with his holes?
No,
really?
Yeah,
no. We have that sometimes. All
the mouse come out of the house
like new underwear. Everybody,
right,
I don't know whose underwear I'm washing, but we need new underwear.
Yeah, it's true. But like, women get all this pressure.
Yes.
Like, but you also can't expect it if you don't give it. You know, like if I'm gonna put in the effort, my husband will be like, you know, he's very good at work clothes, but we're working on casual. And he's like in a t-shirt, and I'm like, no. Like, and I make a look like, look at me. Like, you're not wearing that. Like, we need to look like we're going to the same thing, you know? Like, that's what it is.
Wait, but how does your husband dress? I mean, I know, like,
he looks really handsome to work.
Okay.
And then it's like, he just hasn't figured it out. Like, whatever is available on top.
Okay.
First sweater.
Okay.
First t-shirt.
I think Jeremy looks perfectly wonderful.
But you know what
it's
like, I like
dinner.
when he's still in the button down and, you know.
Well, maybe you need to like lay out his clothes on the bed for him.
How sexy is that?
Very sexy.
I mean,
well, I don't know. You
I
kind of
do that. I do pack
maybe
for
you
him.
should lay out his clothes.
I do. I'm like, change your glasses, change this. I'm really a lot of fun, aren't I? I mean, at least he knows where he stands. Like, there's no question.
I always say that to my husband. I'm like, listen,
You're so lucky, right?
You're so lucky. You know who you married. Like,
right.
I don't want to hear, like, yeah.
There was like, it said final sale when he bought me or whatever. And like, he saw everything. Any flaw, I was like, this is why it's final sale.
Totally.
You know?
Well, no, but that was another question we had because we have husbands who appreciate that we are unapologetic and very confident and a genuine.
Yeah.
But is same with you, or is your husband more like you? I'm curious.
So my husband's he's reserved.
Ours are too. Ours are like wasps.
Too. And he gets very what's the word? I don't want to just, you know, he's like, sometimes he's like, you have to watch what you say. And and I'm
the
like,
nudge under the table. Do you get that? I'll be like, I'm sorry. Did you just kick me under the table? And
I'm like, this is who I am. And I am unapologetic. So you know
I think it's so fascinating because these more reserved
Doug never
types, you know, it's opposites attract. And I think that they want to be near us because it's exciting and they respect it and they agree. But then they also are
Horrified.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna. Yeah, I might have
Yeah.
not have said horrified, but yeah, that's the right word.
I think sometimes, I think my husband can be a little horrified.
Oh, I'm
Sometimes.
sure my husband's horrified. I don't even
But
want
you bring the sparkle to the party, and you bring the
yes.
sparkle to
my
the
house
room.
and to my home.
Right.
And I do. And I feel like I say that to him too. I said the kids genuinely, for the most part, are like, happy and funny and silly because that's who I am at home. Like that's my, my sparkle. And that's
You're totally sparkly.
And and he's more,
But that's why we're attracted to them. They're even keeled. That's what you have to tell yourself.
I feel like we could talk to you for
we could talk for
hours. We're
hours and
definitely going to
hours
have
and
you back.
hours.
Let's just
Yes.
one more time.
Wait,
Motherhood is not a beach. It's a
It's real.
It's a hashtag
BITCH.
Actually, isn't that what a pregnant dog is called? Female dog?
Yes.
Right. Because my son said, because they're bitchy when they're pregnant.
Is that why?
I think so.
But we also, what's really great about the book too is we talk about the B word, right? And like we break it down what it really means today, and we can get into that another time. But when everybody reads the book, they'll see.
Love the word
but
bitch.
it's about initiating and like being true to who we are and allowing ourselves to say no. And and actually, and actually, it came from like when I remember like watching TV and like looking at like all these like super successful, famous women, and you know what? I figured it out. I'm like, the way that they got to be where they are is because they own it.
Yeah.
And they say no and they take action.
What did Dr. Rachel say? Saying no is saying yes to yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that.
I love that too.
Lyss, this has been the most delightful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We love this.
Love.
I love you.
Love you guys.
Mic
Us
drop.
too.